In the past, a parish mission, the good redemptorist hell and brimstone homily might have provided entertainment or diversion during Lent or during the course of the mission. Today we have so much more variety and so much more entertainment available to us. You know, even going to church on Sunday and meeting people there doesn't have the novelty or have the freshness or the engagement that it might have had for people in the past. People are more comfortable in their homes anyway, and they have so much more home entertainment. Obviously, the scandals in the church, the whole issue of the child sexual abuse and so on, has taken an enormous toll on the church as an institution and maybe the confidence that people have in church leadership, and obviously its credibility has suffered because of that. A lot of people, and especially women, find the church structures at times alienating. People don't always feel the sense of belonging, of being heard, or having a sense of active participation in the life of the church that they might like. We also, I think, have very passive congregations on a Sunday. When you go to Mass, I'm sure as lots of you have done, if you go to England or if you go to the United States or across Europe, people participate a lot more energetically than they do in Ireland. These alternative ways of gathering to pray, to reflect on the scriptures and so on. So we're not really maybe nourishing our lives of faith as well as we might. I think we stand at a time when we need a greater evangelization. That's obviously why the Pope had called for this year of faith, that we need to look again at how we're transmitting the faith, how we're communicating it, and how effectively we're doing that. I often give the example, even teaching inside of Mary I, teaching students a course on the sacraments. I asked 27 of them there not too long ago to write down the sacraments. I didn't even say how many. Out of the 27, 7 of them were able to list the 7 sacraments. And they're doing theology. So the level of faith knowledge is pretty poor. Somebody, an English sociologist, talks about belonging without believing. That there are a lot of people who belong to the church without really having any deep faith, maybe, deep sense of believing, or even knowing the truths of their faith very well. And the youth, which is always the big question that people ask, and sometimes say we can get distracted by a concern with the youth before even attending to ourselves, because we have our own challenges before we start to worry about the youth. They certainly inhabit a very different culture, a very different world from what we do. Much less inhibited or hidebound by convention than we are. One of the things that has been striking me over the last 10 or 15 years teaching at third level is how uninhibited students are in what they will say to us as teachers, which we wouldn't have dreamt of talking about or saying before. So they're far less inhibited and far less hidebound by convention. I don't know if any of you saw that programme last week, I think it was, last Monday night week on RTE2 on pornography. It was very interesting. I mean, just the lack of inhibition in the youngsters whom they interviewed for that programme. I mean, it was just amazing. The kind of amnesia among students, among third level students. You know, basic functions in maths that you did, that you learned in primary school, that they have been taught, but they've actually lost or forgotten by the time they need to use them again at third level. So that what's going on, if you like, in terms of faith knowledge or knowledge of religion is paralleled by other areas as well. So it's not just religion that's suffering. A lot of other areas, I think, are suffering as well. And I think even our third level system isn't maybe as helpful as it might be, because everything is a lot more compartmentalised than it was in the past, so that students don't have to carry knowledge or information as long as they do. They do an exam after the end of the term, that's that material out of the way. They move on to the next thing, that's left, and they pick up something else. So that sense of continuity maybe isn't there, and catechesis is as much a casualty of that as any other area. There is certainly still a very significant minority of students who are younger people who are interested in the faith and who participate and who are very committed. Many of them believe, many of them have faith and Christian values, some very strong Christian values, without necessarily having a sense of belonging to the local parish or the local church. So you have maybe people in our generation who belong without believing, you have a lot of them who believe without belonging. So we're in a complex enough kind of imbalances in income, education, opportunity and so on, issues of violence, drug abuse, alcohol, suicide. There are so many major kind of challenges out there that maybe distract us. Today we're influenced by many external sources, often contradictory value systems, expressing changing and conflicting interpretations of life. But there are so many agendas coming at us. Like if you listen to, as I do, Morning Ireland every morning, and if you listen to Drive Time in the evening, and if you happen to have the misfortune of having to listen to Joe Duffy in the afternoon, talking to Joe, everything seems to be very conflictual, doesn't it? And there's struggle in every area and in every domain. So it's very hard to have a sense of any kind of stable value system or a stable or agreed outlook on life or society or on values. Then there's the threat of secularism and secularization. An attempt to exclude God from culture and public life, representing a radical and profound break with the religious and moral traditions of humanity. I think, if you listen to our government, certainly we see it in the education area, you get the impression that, in a sense, that the church or religious groups are minorities, and that the secular worldview is the dominant one. And maybe as a matter of tolerance we can accommodate the churches or the Christian view. So that's there as a serious challenge for us at the moment.